Frosting, sprinkles, and layers of fun. Giant's Cake Picnic hits Sydney. Welcome to Cake Picnic Sydney edition. It's the viral event that's already sold out states in San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles. Tickets in Dubai, London, and Mexico City were harder to come by than a double yolked egg. And now it's landed on Australian shores with a Melbourne event earlier this month boasting 1,600 cakes in one sitting. I had no idea that I could ever go on tour for cake, laughs Cake Picnic founder Elisa Sanga, part-time hobby baker and full-time Google employee. People go on tour for music and whatnot, but for cake? It just seems so whimsical and delightful to be able to do that. The concept is simple. 2 years ago, Sanga, who moved to San Francisco age 12 from her hometown of Baguio City in the Philippines, posted an online invitation for a small gathering with one request. Everyone must bring a cake. The 35-year-old figured maybe a dozen or so people might turn up and brought some cakes to make sure everyone would get a taste. To her amazement, close to 200 people came with more than 180 cakes devoured. Her simple, sugar-laden summons has seen caused ripples of the buttercream variety across the foodie world. It feels unreal, Sanga tells the BBC. I had no idea that thousands of people all over the world would be as excited as I am. There's plenty of excitement among the 500 plus crowd gathering at Saturday's event in Sydney Royal Botanic Garden. As they line up to have their cake inspected, which must be 20 cm 8 inches wide and 7.5 cm 3 inches high. There are a few bloodshot eyes in queue. Among them, Hilary Lingern, 54, wearing an eye-catching outfit and with a carrot cake in hand, says she and her daughter were baking their cake late into the night. It was crazy, a big mess, flour and sugar everywhere, but a lot of fun. There's just so many negative things happening in the world at the moment that it's nice to do something like this. From home bakers to professionals, influencers to non-bakers, everyone places their cakes on the table stretching across the grassy knoll, with Sydney farmed Harbour Bridge as the backdrop. But the only architectural feats eliciting oohs and ahs this autumn morning are of the sponge variety, as enthusiasts peruse the gravity-defying gadgets from the city's governments. From a metered height 3 feet, life-sized swan creation to a bouquet of flowers made entirely of cupcakes, the colorful displays reveal any cake shop window. Coffee pecan torte, spiced pear sponge with mistletoe caramel, a Persian baklava dressed with golden shards of filo pastry, cake fillings of almond crunch and toast, pecan praline, and candied lemon, while jackfruit and plum sugar brings distinct Southeast Asian flavors. There's even a focaccia cake with roast tomato, pesto, and feta icing, a savory offering Shunga is delighted to see. When you're surrounded by thousands of sweet cakes, all you really want is salt, she said. I didn't really know what cake was. Growing up in the Philippines, Sanga confesses her household was a very savory one, with desserts limited to stinky rice and fruit. I didn't really know what a cake or a donut or a brownie was until I started having after-school parties in California, she says. A lot of the Muslim of Cake Picnic is potentially rooted in my desire to catch up. With her working week deep in the world of AI, she says it's refreshing to make something tangible. It's almost meditative doing something creative with my hands. And going to a picnic is about social connection and doing something in real life. AI every day can do an increasingly terrifying amount of things, but to this day, it can't bake a cake yet. Cake Picnic forced people to not only come outside, but spend a day on the grass. Once the cakes have been laid out, pictures snapped, recipes shared, and compliments sprinkled, small groups take turns declaiming the decency before them, with 5 minutes to cut, carve, and cram as many morsels of cake into a large pizza box. One dives straight into a popular matcha strawberry creation in row 3. Another tells her friend she's making a beeline for the tres leche. Infused Lim, a Sydney-based influencer originally from Singapore, is grabbing a selfie with Sangha while balancing her haul of desserts piled high in a pizza box. It's so vibrant and inclusive. Infuses. There's no judgment here, just people and cakes of all shapes and sizes. Under a nearby fig tree, Marcus Ehrlich, 42, is one of the few men in the crowd, enjoying cake with his wife and king baker Kelly Ehrlich, 48, who brought a blueberry and blood orange creation to share. In a big city, this is the type of thing we should be doing, Marcus says, enjoying samples of pattern and oop cakes. Tanya Melchorwarp, 37, and her two daughters, Lily, 13, and Ivy, 11, stayed up late the nights before making a trio of cakes: lemon, red velvet, and rainbow. We just love cakes, Ivy says, adding it's fun to bake with her mom and sister. One of the youngest sweet tooth is Matilda, 6, who helped her mom, Jasmine Glansana, 36, decorate a store-bought cake, and who happily admits, "I'm a good eater, not a baker." From light and airy chiffon cakes to rich and buttery creations, Australian-themed cakes are also du jour, with a towering koala creation by Greg Lyons, 40, mixing Filipino's flavors of oop and leche flan that took 3 days to finish. I was up until midnight, says the lawyer, who turns to baking as a release from his day job. Further along the table, a free-tiered honey cake sits near a wholemeal plum cake with spiced icing, while a Swedish princess cake draws grabs an admiration with its dome of sponge, jam, custard, and marzipan. Associate Professor Lindsay Kelly studies food and technology and says the allure of a cake picnic is in its design. Unlike muffins, cupcakes, or biscuits, cakes are designed to be sliced and shared, she says. When we see a whole cake at parties and events, we understand that everyone around the table gets a slice and we share that experience. And that shared experience is what drives Sangha as she continues to whip up a frenzy with Cake Picnic. When you go to a concert, it's pretty much the same age group, she says, but when you're at Cake Picnic, it's so varied. Sangha says her event brings together families, older women that bake together, Gen Z girlfriends that have got out of the group chats, people in college, or young women that are exploring creative activities. It's just fun to see everyone coming together, she says. As for juggling a full-time job and her baking, it's her selfish way of wanting to have it all. I am very curious about tech and AI, but at the same time, I love being creative and expressing myself and eating cake. Sangha says, I want to have my cake and eat it too. My opinion. I haven't heard of an outdoor cake party in Australia before I read this news. A feast which are settled by many cakes. It's so wonderful for foodie that enjoys having desserts like me. But there was another thing that shocked me a lot when I was reading this news. Although this party only had cakes, not every cake was sweet. The one which is made with tomatoes and tastes salty surprised me a lot. The baker hadn't limited a cake must be sweet and made a creative cake. The another thing shocked me is the founder who is the part-time hobby baker and full-time technology company employee. Even though she isn't a professional baker, she still founded this cake party to share cake with various people. I wish I can take part in a cake party too, so I can taste many different flavors of cake and share this happiness with others. Enjoying cakes with love and peace sounds very nice, doesn't it?